Hello and welcome to The Watch List, a special presentation of 30-minute reviews. I am Adam with a new theme song to indicate this special series. And we're going to be talking about The Outer Banks, episode 2, which, and it feels unfair to do this, because I think it's obvious that National Treasure Edge of History did get a lot of its dynamics and everything from Outer Banks. Watching it now, it's like you when you watch it, you're like, oh, okay, I see where they came up with the idea for how to do these character dynamics and how to have this kind of story work with a younger cast. And I think that is an interesting kind of situation to have. I and again, when we talk about iteration in terms of television, stuff like that, as you have time to see what works and what doesn't, you can work out the kinks a little bit better. So to say that I enjoyed it more in National Treasure doesn't feel fair, because this came first and this kind of had the blaze the trail, so to speak. And I think that a lot of that comes from the fact that I don't really gel with, what's his name? The main guy. John, that's his name. I don't really gel with him because I just kind of feel like he's acting however he needs to act in the moment for the plot, not necessarily in a way that is conducive to moving the story. Well, I mean, it is designed to move the story along, but he careens so wildly from one emotion to another, and I think a lot of the characters are acting out in ways that it's just kind of being annoying. And I think part of the problem is there is the underlying adventure, like treasure hunting adventure under it, but that is so many layers deeper than it needs to be that I don't find it interesting when we do get to that. Like, because it's like you have to sit through so much other stuff to get to that. Now, again, my general rule of thumb is you give a show 3 episodes. If it doesn't grab you by episode 3, then you move on. And I don't. I mean, look, obviously we're gonna get through the entire season before I can this idea and move on to the next show. But I think we may end up in a situation where I elect to do a show I know I like, just so I can have a palate cleanser after this, where we do Daredevil or we do Sandman or we do what was that other one? Andor. Yeah, I mean, we may end up doing that just that way I have a little bit of a palate cleanser because I'm really not gelling with this show. And I think that's just like, it's not the YA, because I can deal with YA. Like, I didn't hate The Darkest Minds. I'm looking forward to Hunger Games this year. And again, I mean, I didn't like Willow, but I did kind of enjoy, even if it was predictable, National Treasure, which you can hear all about that if you go over to Beware of Spoilers. But I think that that's kind of where this show kind of loses me. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I just feel like none of the characters are really acting in ways that feel kind of organic. And again, we're still trying to find our footing at this point. We're still trying to make this show, become what it will be. And the show does have a sizable fan base, so maybe it does take a little bit to get good, and I just don't know what that point is yet, because I haven't reached it. Or maybe it's not a show that's ever going to gel with me, which has happened. There have been shows that have been great that I've never really gotten into. And maybe this is one of them. But I don't know. Maybe that's just where we are. And it's interesting that, I mean, look, the show is shot beautifully. I can say that. I mean, a lot of the way that, like, between this and, like, the only other thing I can really think of to compare it to, and it's not a fair comparison, is Where the Crawdads Sing. It's just the way this is shot, and then, like, the bigger macro kind of almost Game of Thronesian dynamics that exist within the general world of, Outer Banks is just kind of not properly defined, I don't think. I don't think they do a good enough job laying out these dynamics, and I think that for a show that is so dependent on these dynamics to work, I just feel like it doesn't quite mesh there. I could be wrong, though. Maybe I'm the outlier on this, and maybe I'm just an asshole, which is entirely possible. I've conceded to that point in other aspects of my life, and maybe this is just one of those times. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll pick back up. Maybe when I watch episode 3, I'll like it better. But we'll be continuing with this next week, and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled Thursday on this. So, over here we'll have this on 30-minute reviews proper. The week, well, this is going up today. We ended up getting screwed up because of the Academy Awards, but we're going to be doing This we have John Wick. I just recorded the episode for Race the Sun that's going up Monday for the backlog files. Um, I gotta keep these names straight somehow. And yeah, we have all of that kind of happening this week, and we'll be talking about All That Breathes. We'll be talking about Navalny probably at some point, and we'll be talking about over on 30-minute reviews. We did that already. Exploring Hyperspace Lanes, though, Josie and I are going to be talking about Return of the Jedi. We're recording that episode tomorrow. So until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.